Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Michael Tic Tac, and today I'm doing yet another animal run, this time only using bear Pokemon. So what are the rules for this video? Well, if it's a bear Pokemon, or at least looks like a bear Pokemon, then you better believe I'll be using it. Also, hardcore Nuzlocke rules will apply, which are on the screen now. First things first, we need our starter Pokemon. Have you decided which one of these Pokemon you'd like to be your first partner? Director, did you not watch the intro? I'm only using bears for this run. None of these losers get anywhere near my team. I'm out of here. Thankfully for us, we can find ourselves this little fella just chilling around. Now, to be honest, I wasn't 100% sure if Pawmot is actually a bear, but honestly, it looks just like one, and that's good enough for me. We captured the tiny bear and give him the name Pooh. And no, I'm not naming him after feces, it's spelled Pooh with a H at the end of it. P-O-O-H. Pooh. Our first hurdle will be Katie and a team of creepy crawlies and her bear. Yep, ironically, the first gym leader uses a bear as her ace. The problem is that our boy Pooh isn't quite ready to start soloing gyms, but I have a plan. We will just catch our own Turdiursia. Okay, so it turns out these little guys are above the level cap. Not quite sure how Katie got her one. But all is not lost, my friends. Back at the academy, we can speak to this lady here, which sends us to the new region of Kitakami. You see, in this lovely new area, there are Munchlaxes that spawn, which, when evolved, become a Snorlax. And according to me, Snorlaxes look like a bear, and I'm pretty sure they are one. So once we arrive, we actually avoid going to town and backtrack this way, and with some clever maneuvering, we can get access to better head to the community center. Okay, this is not good. The reason why I wanted to avoid heading into town first is because as soon as you enter, you get ambushed by Carmine for a battle. And because her ace is a grass ghost type, Poltergear, you know, this thing, okay? Pooh literally has no chance in this battle. To make things worse, we can't even head back to Paldea until we do this battle. So I'm stuck here in Kitakami. But all is not lost. As you see, I do have an ace up my sleeve. And originally I was going to save this for later, but desperate times call for desperate measures.
Hello?
Is this Pokemon Director Mr. Masuda?
Well, that depends who's asking.
It's me, Tic Tac. I need that favor now. You know, for my Pokemon Bear run.
Okay, no problem. Now remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, okay, bye. Why, hello there. We catch the Kung Fu and give him the name Baloo. Alright, Carmine, let's dance. Baloo terrestrializes to power up his fighting moves and rock smashes a Poochyena right in the face. Vulpix does survive a Volt Smash before using Disable on it, which is completely fine as an aerial ace could finish it off. Last is the Poltergeist, but this fancy looking teapot is taken out with back-to-back aerial aces. Now that Carmine is beaten, we can finally leave Kitakami. But while we're here, we may as well get what we came for. And after all that, the Munchlaxes around here are all over the level cap for Katie anyway, meaning we could have never used this to begin with. We catch it anyway, give it the name Yogi, and put him in the box. Okay, no more distractions. Katie, here I come. Nimble, acrobatics. Tarantula, acrobatics. Turdiursia, acrobatics. Twice? Yeah, it was that easy. The giant crab Clawf is next on our list, and look at him just hanging on that wall. Not a care in the world. Before I approach the Titan, I teach Baloo Low Kick, a move that not only is super effective, but deals more damage the heavier the Pokemon is. And something tells me that this thing might be heavy. 2 terrestrialized Low Kicks from Baloo deals with the Clawf in the first phase, forcing it to flee, have a quick snack, and then come back for more punishment. Baloo makes quick work of the giant crab, with 2 more Low Kicks taking it out. In the cave we find some, special herbs, which Ava then uses to make into a sandwich for us. Brassius and his plants are our next victims, but before we pay him a visit, we go on a hunt for a new team member. Just outside Artisan City, we can find these Turdiursias, which unfortunately, like the Munchlax, is overleveled. We then round up a bunch of stuttering Sunfloras to complete the gym challenge, and then take on Brassius. Okay, I know at this point it feels like I'm just beating the game with a Cubfu, but I promise, after this fight, we'll see more of our bears involved in the action. Pettilil gets hit with acrobatics and dies, Smoliv then gets hit with acrobatics and dies, finally, Sudowoodo gets hit with acrobatics twice and then dies. Easy peasy. Hey you! Yes you beautiful thing. Can you do me a favor and hit that like button if you're enjoying the video, and if you want to sub, you know, that'd be great. Thank you. Right, the level cap has increased to 19, which now means we can shake up the team quite a bit. First we head to this area of Paldea and start collecting the berries all over the field. Then we feed these berries to our Munchlax Yogi, as this increases his friendliness. And then finally, Yogi levels up once and can evolve into a Snorlax. Pooh can also evolve into a Pawmo at level 18, making him somewhat more useful. Bombardier is our next victim, but before we send the giant bird to an early grave, wow, that sounded pretty dark. There's an item here at Medali that I want to get for Yogi. Leftovers. We reach the peak of the mountain, getting the attention of the Titan, and we start the battle. Yogi starts things off by dodging a rock throw and then countering with a huge thunder punch, dealing massive damage. This time the rock throw does hit us, but Yogi's unfazed, delivering another big thunder punch, ending the first round. The Bombardier retreats to have a cheeky snack, Arven comes along to see what the fuss is about, and then we can start the next phase, which once again is just Yogi thunder punching this giant stalk a few times until it finally dies. Arven can get some more herbs, make us a sandwich, and we're done with the Titan. Team Sub probably thinks they're safe from us, as we have yet to pay them a visit, and well, that's about to change. Our first Team Sub victim will be none other than DJ Vice, or better known as Giacomo. But wait, before we go there, I want to do something. You see, if we make our boy Pooh do some walking, he can evolve. So whether you want to take your little bear for a walk, or have him run in circles endlessly, after enough time, he'll become a powerful Pawmon upon leveling up. Giacomo leads with Pawniard, but this thing gets obliterated by a quite-effective low kick from Pooh. The Starmobile comes in and annoyingly drops my attack with Intimidate, so we switch Yogi in, then switch Pooh back in again, eating a not very effective Wicked Talk, but with his attack back to normal. Two low kicks from Pooh deal insane damage, busting up the car and taking out the first Team Star base. Now we have the local social media star Iona to take care of. Scratch that, Nemona needs to be taught a lesson first. With Nemona beaten, Iona reaches out to us from out of nowhere. I hope this doesn't come to too much of a surprise, but you're being broadcasted live to the world right now. Wait, what did you say? Watch your Lancer Stark on Boo Boo, doing okay damage, before we retaliate with a huge smackdown, almost taking out the bird. The second spark does bring Boo Boo below half health, but another smackdown crushes the Wattrel. Bellybolt jumps in, so I switch in Yogi, who gets hit by a spark for little damage, but does get paralyzed. We stay in taking another spark, but then he gets fully paralyzed, unable to hit back. Being stubborn, we stay in, eating another spark, and this time we can land a massive earthquake, but the stupid frog doesn't die. Pooh tags in for Yogi, coming in for free as we Volt absorb the spark, before taking out the Bellybolt with a dig. Luxio is next, dropping our attack with Intimidate, so I switch in Baloo, who takes a bite well before bringing Pooh back in again for free due to Volt Absorb with his attack back up to normal. Pooh then follows up with a dig, getting rid of the Luxio. Last is the Ace Mismagius, who loses all its weaknesses once it terrestrializes into an electric type. Thankfully, I can outsmart Nemona by switching between Pooh, who can Volt Absorb her charge beams, and then Yogi, who's immune to her hexes, until she runs out of PP for both moves. From here, Pooh can land the final blow, low kicking Mismagius straight back to Iono. Alright ladies and gentlemen, it's time to turn up the heat. Wait, actually no, I think I want to turn down the heat. That makes more sense because the aim is to take out Mela and her fire Pokemon. You know what, who cares? Mela, here I come. Yogi starts against the Torkoal, and we start off by going for a Protect to burn one of the harsh sunlight turns. Then he lands a huge earthquake, bringing her Torkoal below half health before being hit by a Flame Wheel for pitiful damage. Oh yeah, did I mention that Yogi has the ability Thick Fat? This means he takes 50% less damage from both fire and ice moves. A second earthquake crushes the turtle and forces Mela to bring in a Starmobile to fight. We protect again to get some extra leftover recovery, as well as wasting yet another turn of the sun. The Starmobile hits Yogi with a blazing torque, which doesn't hurt too much, while an earthquake hits pretty hard. Yogi and the Starmobile trade blows for a few turns, but of course our Thick Boy can outlast the car and finish it off with a final earthquake. There's a giant earthworm causing havoc, and it's up to me, yes, me, to tame the beast. Baloo knows the move Low Kick, and because this giant worm is so heavy, this move has a base power of 120. Then we add the additional stab damage, which stands for same type attack bonus for those of you who aren't nerds, and then add the additional power up from terrestrialization, and well yeah, see you later. It actually survives a Low Kick in the second phase, so we just kick it again. Right, so herbs, sandwich, and photo. The level cap has now increased, which means our little Boo Boo can become a big Boo Boo. Okay, Boo Boo. I'm saying Boo Boo a lot, aren't I? Anyway, ready to take out Kofu? Excuse me, mate. Did you just go to sleep? Right, this is kind of awkward. Alright, you well rested, mate? Good. Let's go teach Kofu and his water Pokemon a lesson. Kofu's Veluza outspeeds Boo Boo, landing an Aqua Cutter, doing decent damage, while our Thunder Punch is agonizingly close to getting the KO. We protect between turns to get some extra leftover recovery before taking an Aqua Cutter from Veluza, bringing us below half health. Then we land a second Thunder Punch, KOing the fish. While Trio tries his luck with a headbutt, but Boo Boo shakes off the hit and eliminates it with a big super effective Thunder Punch. Kofu brings in his ace Crabobnable, who terrestrializes into a water type. I switch in Yogi, who dodges a Crab Hammer as he comes in. Okay, just quickly, the friendship mechanic is kind of broken, but unfortunately this is the only way for Munchlax to evolve, so I had no choice but to max out Yogi's friendship. This time the Crabobnable doesn't miss, dealing massive damage to Yogi before our thick boy responds with a big Thunder Punch of his own to the Crab. Pooh comes in, who I should have just led with from the beginning to be honest, taking a Crab Hammer which almost ends his life, but he survives a hit, allowing us to retaliate with a Thunder Punch, destroying Kofu's Crab. Things are about to get toxic, as now we need to pay a visit to the Poison Team Star base to deal with their leader, Atticus. But wait, before we do that, I think it's now time for Ursaring to evolve. Now, I really wanted to make this thing a Blood Moon Ursaluna, but the lowest level you can get him is 70, which means he would have been over-leveled for every fight in the game. So regular Ursaluna will have to do. So we slap on some soft sand to boost his earthquakes, and we go to battle. Boo Boo terrestrializes into a pure ground type, gets Sucker Punch from the opposing Skuntank, and then uses Earthquake on the thing to absolutely destroy it. Rillaboom does land an Iron Head, but we crush the mini card with an Earthquake. Muck is next, but it doesn't even get a chance to make a move as an Earthquake destroys it. Finally, it's his last line of defense, the Starmobile. It goes for a spin out, doing pitiful damage to us, while an Earthquake on the other hand almost one-shots it. It desperately tries to take us out with a second spin out, but we don't fall, and another Earthquake from Boo Boo sends a car to the scrapyard. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Michael, when are you going to evolve Baloo into an Urshifu? Well, abracadabra. Alright, time to see what he's made of. Larry, we're coming for you. We start off things with a bulk up against his Kamala, raising his attack and defense. Okay, just quickly, as I'm writing this script for this video, I realized that Kamala is literally a koala bear, and I could have used one for the run, and, well, I never did. Kamala hits back with a slam, doing decent damage to us, but we stick to the plan going for another bulk up, becoming stronger, while the little guy doesn't back down, going for another slam. Baloo goes for one more bulk up, making him unstoppable, and Kamala lands a yawn, making us drowsy. Now Baloo goes on the offensive, brick breaking the Kamala, crushing it in a single hit before being put to sleep with a yawn. But this isn't my first rodeo, and we have a Chesto Berry equipped, waking us right back up. The Dunsparce could be a problem, but we're just too strong, one-shotting it with a brick break. Larry gets desperate, bringing in his Ace Staraptor, which does intimidate us, but we're still at +2 in attack, so we stay in and go for a Sucker Punch to make sure we outspeed, and the stupid bird survives. Thankfully, an incoming Aerial Ace doesn't crit, meaning we can survive and finish off the Staraptor with a second Sucker Punch. Before we even get a chance to breathe, Nemona wants to battle us again, and this time in front of Gita. Baloo can bulk up a few times on her Lycan Rock before brick breaking every single one of her Pokemon into smithereens. Our gym challenge now takes us to the snowy mountains of Paldea, although it works out well for us as this is where we can find our final team member, Beartick. Look, I know that this is probably a mother who is just looking after her cubs, and taking her away from them will almost certainly mean they will not survive. But I have a Nuzlocke to complete, so I capture the Beartick and give her the name Mama Bear. The Montenevera gym leader Rhyme specializes in ghost Pokemon. You won't get anywhere if you try to take her on with normal or fighting types. Is that so? Challenge accepted. Boo Boo and Baloo take the lead against Rhyme, and we start off by Wicked Blowing the Banette, KOing it in a single hit. Mimikyu then also slashes Boo Boo, which doesn't hurt, before he can break Mimikyu's disguise with a payback. The crowd then starts cheering for us, raising our attack stats, meaning a Wicked Blow from Baloo is now enough to take out the Mimikyu, although Boo Boo doesn't quite get the job done with a payback against the Houndstone. The dog then goes for a play. Whoa! Jeez! That was close. Yeah, you gotta get out of here, buddy. Mama Bear, come in, please. Boo Boo then does take the Houndstone out with a second payback, while a Terrestrialized Toxtricity lands a Hex on Mama Bear, but we take it pretty well. Boo Boo then lands one final payback on the Toxtricity, and Rhyme and her Pokemon have died for a second time. Get it? They're ghost Pokemon, so they're already dead and they've died for a second time. No? Okay, well, I'll see myself out. Sorry. We go Titan hunting, this time tracking down the quaking Earth Titan, or better known as the Great Tusk. Baloo knows Ice Punch, which allows him to deal with the prehistoric Pokemon with ease in the first phase. In the second phase, it does manage to take out Arvin Scorvillian, but Baloo has the last laugh by throwing one more Icy Punch at this thing, getting the win. Not going to lie, so far this run has been pretty stress-free. Turns out that bears are kinda OP, but that's all about to change, my friends, as when we get to Alfonda City, Nimona wants to challenge us again, and this time she means business. Just kidding. Baloo, can you please handle this for me? The real reason we came to this city is to get our hands on the next gym badge that is in the hands of the makeup specialist, Tulip, and her psychic Pokemon, who looks like she's just had a nice cup of milk and forgot to wipe her lip. Baloo starts using bulk ups against her Farigiraf, who can barely tickle us with crunches. Once at +6, yes, I know that's overkill, we can Wicked Blow the giraffe to its grave. In fact, we just continue to press the A button over and over, Wicked Blowing all her Pokemon and one-shotting them all in the process. All that's left to do now is to head back to the snowy region of Paldea and go face to face with Grusha. Brrr, I'm freezing. You're freezing. Mate, you're covered from head to toe in winter clothes. And you're freezing? Give me a break. Mama Bear takes the lead and goes for a bulk up while the Frostmoth sets up with a tailwind, which could be problematic. It now outspeeds and lands a Bug Buzz, doing insane damage to Mama Bear, while we end up going for one more bulk up, getting us to +2. At the end of the turn, we recover some HP with leftovers, but we also go for a protect, not only to waste a tailwind turn, but to also get some additional HP recovery from leftovers. Frostmoth then delivers another insane Bug Buzz, leaving Mama Bear on 13 HP, but we can respond with a quad effective Rock Tomb, taking out the Icy Bug. But even more importantly, the tailwind has also ended. Grusha then brings in his own Bear Tick, but this thing is a fraud, and one Brick Break sends it straight to the afterlife. See, Titan is kinda bulky, but a +2 super effective Brick Break is enough to crush it to pieces. Finally, it's his ace Altaria, who does try to save the day, but it stands no chance against Mama Bear, falling to a single Brick Break, giving us the win. Now, technically with all 8 gym badges, we can barge our way to the Pokemon League, smack around the Elite Four members, and then defeat Geeta and become a champion. But that will need to wait, as for now we have a Titan to slay and a couple of Team Star bases to gate crash. Starting with Team Star, we raid the Fairy base and take on their leader, Ortega. Yogi starts off, and an Aqua Tail ends up hurting a lot more than I thought, but a Body Slam does bring the Azumarill below half health. Yogi protects on the next turn, getting some additional leftovers recovery, before the Azumarill goes for a charm, sharply dropping our attack, meaning our Body Slam won't KO, although it does get a clutch paralysis. Yogi can now outspeed and squish the Azumarill with one more Body Slam. Wigglytuff further drops her attack with a charm, and now our Body Slams do pathetic damage, but once again coming in clutch with a paralysis. Yogi's attack is too low, so Boo Boo tags in for him, and we take no damage from the Wigglytuff as it's fully paralyzed. Boo Boo then goes for a massive earthquake, obliterating Wigglytuff and taking it out. Dash Bun comes in, and a Baby Doll Eyes does drop Boo Boo's attack, meaning an earthquake doesn't hurt too much. A Play Rough comes our way, which we tank well, and a second earthquake brings a dog into the red. Dash Bun goes for yet another Baby Doll Eyes, dropping our attack again, but it's not enough as an earthquake can finish it off. Last is the Starmobile, and with the attack drop, Yogi switches in, eating a steel roller in the process. The Rutch Bus Starmobile? Okay, how have I never noticed that name before? Anyway, it goes for a Confuse Ray, confusing Yogi, and we hit ourselves in confusion. A Magical Talk does hurt a fair bit, but Yogi fights through the confusion, landing a Body Slam. It goes for another Magical Talk, bringing us low, before Yogi hits himself with confusion again, almost taking himself out. Boo Boo comes back in while getting hit by a Magical Talk before the Starmobile confuses him also, but it keeps his focus, and a Terrestrialized Earthquake does huge damage to the car. The Starmobile goes for yet another Magical Talk, bringing us low, but Boo Boo snaps out of confusion, and a second Earthquake leaves the vehicle on the brink of death. Just when we think we've wrapped up the fight, we get hit with a Magical Talk, which confuses us, and then on top of that, we hit ourselves with confusion. Mama Bear now makes an entrance, and a Magical Talk does hurt as we switch in, and then on top of that, the Starmobile confuses her with a Confuse Ray. But it's all for nothing, as she can land an Ice Punch, smashing the car, and getting the win. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe what happened. Yep, That's a shiny Slowbro in the flesh, and upon looking at this thing, it does somewhat resemble a bear. So I can use it, right? Well, sadly, the Pokedex entry says that this species is actually a hermit crab, so yeah, it can't be used. The False Dragon Dondonzo is our next target, and Pooh can land a couple of big thunder punches on the giant fish, ending the first phase. In the second phase, Pooh can terrestrialize, and a couple more thunder punches from our bear can get the job done, and we put an end to the Titan. But we're not done here, as there's one final battle left, this time against a Tatsugiri. Pooh goes for a Nuzzle this time, making sure to hinder it with paralysis, which pays off instantly as he gets fully paralyzed before Ivan's Greedent can land a takedown. I hard switch in Yogi, who gets in for free as the Tatsugiri is fully paralyzed for a second time, although Greedent does miss his takedown. Yogi and Greedent take turns beating on this poor piece of sushi with body slams and takedowns, and then one last takedown from Greedent does eliminate the Tatsugiri, and now we've slayed every Titan in Paldea. Oh, and also Ivan's dog is no longer sick, and that's kind of important to the story, I guess. Alright, we have one final task to complete, and that's to beat up Eerie and her fighting Pokemon. Actually, just her Pokemon. I wouldn't dare fight Eerie. She'd definitely beat me up. Boo Boo takes charge, terrestrializing to lose his fighting weakness, and then goes for a bulk up, raising our attack and defense. As expected, we get hit with a Brick Break, which we can now take with ease. From here, I alternate between going for Protects for leftovers recovery, and then bulk ups to power up our bear. Boo Boo eventually gets a +6 while almost being at full health, and now the sweep begins. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we can now begin the endgame, starting with the Pokemon League and the Elite Four. Rika is our first opponent, and she loves to use ground types, so naturally, I lead with our Ice type, Mama Bear. Mama Bear can bulk up on a Wish Cache before being hit with an Earth Power for decent damage. One bulk up is all I want though, as on the next turn a quad effective Trial Blaze not only takes out the Wish Cache, but also raises our speed. As expected, Camera Up comes in, but one Earthquake from Mama Bear crushes the Camel. Donphan does have Sturdy, so we go for a Trial Blaze to further raise our speed and break the Sturdy. A Stone Edge does hurt, but we survive the hit and finish off the Donphan with an Ice Punch. Dugtrio comes in only to be Ice Punch straight to the face. Last is a Clodsire, and one more Ice Punch can put an end to it and defeat Rika, who doesn't look very impressed after the loss. Poppy now makes her way through the doors and is our next opponent. Boo Boo takes charge in this fight and sets up with a bulk up, while Poppy leads with a Copperaja, who goes for Stealth Rocks. Boo Boo then goes for an Earthquake, which absolutely crushes the Copperaja, taking it out and forcing Poppy to bring in a Corviknight. As it's immune to ground type moves, Boo Boo goes for Drain Punches, which does surprisingly decent damage before the bird goes for an Iron Defense, making him even bulkier. Wanting to lose my normal typing, we terrestrialize Boo Boo before going for another Drain Punch on the Corviknight. The bird then goes for a Body Press, which now thankfully is no longer super effective, and we take it well. A third Drain Punch is just short from the KO, meaning we take another hit from a Body Press before we can eventually get the kill. Now it's Bronzong who comes in, but two Drain Punches from Boo Boo can send it packing. Magnezone does have Sturdy, allowing it to survive the first Earthquake, but it doesn't matter as it goes down on the second turn. Last, and probably least, if I'm being honest, we have her Tinkertong, who just falls to a single Earthquake from Boo Boo, giving us another victory. And now it's time for the man, the myth, the legend. Okay, maybe I'm getting a little carried away here. It's just Larry. Pooh has shown some love and can one-shot the Tropius with an Ice Punch. Larry then sends an Altaria, and yeah, this also just gets punched in the face with an Ice Punch. Staraptor does drop our attack with Intimidate, so we terrestrialize Pooh, boosting our Thunder Punch, which also crits, meaning the Staraptor stood no chance surviving. Oricorio comes out, so I use this opportunity to bulk up, raising my stats, but the cheeky bird goes for a Teeter Dance, confusing Pooh. On the next turn, Pooh does hit himself with Confusion, but Larry's Oricorio heals us back up with Revolution Dance thanks to Volt Absorb. Pooh then snaps out of Confusion, and then can take out the cheerleading Pokemon with an Ice Punch. Finally, it's a Flamingo, but a terrestrialized Thunder Punch is just too much for it, and we get the win. The last member we need to take out is Hassel, and now it's time for Baloo to make his debut in the Pokemon League, so I slap on an Expert Belt, and off we go. We go for Bulk Up, And yeah, I know I use this move a lot in this run, which raises our attack and defense before Noivern lands a Super Fang, which will always deal 50% damage to my remaining HP. Baloo then Ice Punches the Noivern, the Flapple, and the Dragalge, taking them all out in a single hit. When Haxorus comes in, we go for a second bulk up, getting even stronger before being hit with the Dragon Claw, which we take well. Back on the attack we go, and an Ice Punch destroys the Haxorus, forcing out Hassle's Ace, Baxcalibur. It terrestrializes into a pure Dragon type, but it doesn't matter, as one final Ice Punch gets the job done and gives us the win over the final member. Alright Gita, I'm coming for you now. We go outside and we locate the champion Gita for the showdown. Yogi takes a lead and dodges the Lumina Crash because he loves me, and then gets a critical hit crunch off on the Espartha, taking it out. Yep, friendship is completely busted in Pokemon games. Avalok is next in, and Yogi goes for a body slam, not only critting, but paralyzes the slab of ice as well. It responds with an avalanche, but because of thick fat, it doesn't hurt too much. We then trade blows a couple of times, bringing it on the verge of death with a body slam, before out of nowhere, it goes for a super effective body press, almost taking out Yogi. But ultimately, we do survive, and we can take it out with a crunch. King Gambit hops in, so I switch Yogi out and bring in Baloo, who can take a Kowtow Cleave like a champ. We bulk up to raise our stats, and the King Gambit tries his luck with an Iron Head, but we survive the hit. From here, Baloo can use Brick Break, which ultimately obliterates the King Gambit. The Goat thinks he's tough, but we show our dominance over the Goat with an Ice Punch to the face. Veluza stands no chance also, as a Wicked Blow is too much for the fish. Finally, it's an Ace Glamora, and this thing helps us out by terrestrializing into a pure rock type, meaning a Brick Break is now super effective, and we can one-shot it, giving us the win over Gita and the title of champion. But our journey does not end here, my friends. Oh no, we have much bigger fish to fry. You see, we meet up with Arvin at the lighthouse, only to find that his mother, Professor Sada, is trapped in Area Zero and needs our help. To access Area Zero, we first need to defeat Arvin, Director Clavel, Penny, and Nimona one last time, which we can do with ease. You're just gonna have to trust me on this. With all that done, Arvin, Penny, and Nimona all jump on my Koraidon and head down to Area Zero. This is it, ladies and gentlemen, the final battle against Professor Sada. Well, technically it's an AI version of her, but we're still gonna fight. Baloo starts off, and an Aerial Ace is quite effective against her Slitherwing, taking it out in a single blow. Screamtail comes in, and to make sure we don't get completely destroyed by a quite effective fairy move, I terrestrialize and go for a bulk up, and as predicted, a Play Rough comes our way, but we can take the hit reasonably well. I get a little greedy going for a second bulk up, but we can survive another Play Rough from the Screamtail, and then follow up with a Wicked Blow to finish off the Jigglypuff clone. Brute Bonnet drops in to try and save the day, but one Ice Punch is all it takes to make it fall. Fluttermane is next, and I underestimated how fast this thing was, getting outsped and dying to a Shadow Ball. Yeah, that was a big misplay. Boo Boo comes in and gets hit with a Mystical Fire for minimal damage before going for a bulk up in front of the Fluttermane. Fluttermane goes for another Mystical Fire on Boo Boo, and we double down, bulking up for a second time. We take one final Mystical Fire from the Fluttermane before hitting it with a devastating Earthquake, ending its life. Now it's Sandy Shocked, who can outspeed and almost kill Boo Boo with a huge Earth Power, while a Drain Punch does just over half damage, recovering some of our HP. Ultimately, we have no choice but to stay in, and Boo Boo gets hit with another Earth Power, leaving him on 16 HP before going for a second Drain Punch, KOing the Sandy Shocked and getting some more HP back. Now it's our final Pokemon, Roaring Moon, who comes in and goes for a Dragon Claw, but Boo Boo is just too tanky thanks to the bulk ups, surviving a 19 HP before delivering an insane Earthquake, eliminating it from existence. And that's that. We have beaten the game using just Bear Pokemon. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.